you just felt like friends you haven't seen in a long time. Friends you haven't seen in a long time that have been through a lot. You know, we've all been through a lot. So when we see each other again, it's just going to be more special.
Creative Conversations.
Hey Zouk family, welcome back, and this is an immensely exciting one for me as I rack up 100 episodes of the Creative Conversations, the podcast we went into during the lockdown, Zouk globally, that goes out to Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Vegas. We welcome back my favorite DJ, shameful admission there, but also one of Zouk Genting's favorite, one of only two to have played here twice. Markus, how on earth have you been?
Been good. I'm here in Miami. You know, the USA is kind of funny because the whole COVID thing goes state by state. It's not federal. It's not national. So you have some states like New York and California that are in complete lockdown, can't even leave the house. And then you got places like Florida and specifically Miami where it's like, it's weird. Sometimes it seems like COVID doesn't exist. You know, people are just out. Restaurants are open. There's even some clubs that are open now, and so it's pretty wild. It's you know, we've been very fortunate here in Miami. That being said, obviously with that comes a high amount of stress and paranoia. So we've been kind of keeping to ourselves, but at the same time, the feeling that everything is open and accessible here in Miami, you know, makes you feel not so caged up, I guess.
Well, first of all, we're glad that you and Adina are both healthy and strong.
Yes, thank you.
Every single DJ we've spoken to, bar one, has been safe. As we both know, our good friend Stu from Arkham Knights had COVID but recovered, which is fantastic news. And the last time we spoke to you was 2 days before all the Zouks globally shut down. You were the last DJ.
Actually, I think that was the absolute last show that I did before everything went into lockdown. I remember specifically, we were like, you know, that flight home from, you know, from Zouk, from Kuala Lumpur, it was like the flight was empty. You know, empty coming back into the U.S. At first, we were worried if we were going to be able to get back in to the U.S., you know, but we got in, no problems. And yeah, that was the absolute last show that we did before everything went into lockdown.
It was a phenomenal send-off. You've played here twice. You smashed it twice. Huge following in Malaysia, which you know very well. And let me ask you this. We're lucky we're through 2020. It has been a bit of a rough year, but you were very proactive during 2020. You had a lot of live streams. You also made a lot of music and some fantastic music. So how was 2020 on a production front for you?
I mean, I think it was the first time that I really was able to open up, you know, the studio and then just leave it running the whole time without shutting things down and rehooking things up the next day in a different city, you know. And so I was able to really, even in the middle of the night, just get up and work. And I find that I was very productive. I finished my artist album Escape. I finished a lot of exclusive tracks that I used as on my Escape tour, which is it, you know. Okay, let me back up a little bit. With every album that I do, I like we do a world tour where we travel all over the world, you know, with the singers and everything for that album. But since everything was in lockdown, I came up with this concept of the Escape tour, which is we traveled all over the United States, 10 different locations in isolation. We were in the Grand Canyon, Black Rock Playa, the Rocky Mountains, just like amazing places, just doing these sets out in nature. But yeah, so going back, not only did I finish the Escape album, but I made lots of exclusive material for the Escape tour. So it was a really prolific 2020 for me as far as studio work.
And you've done some streams as well. I tuned into a couple of streams. Luckily, the time difference between America and Malaysia is not so bad, and kept yourself busy, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, after a while, I was just like, you know, I got to do something. So we just took the equipment out on the balcony here in Miami and just went online. Didn't know what was going to happen. Didn't know who was going to be watching, and everybody absolutely loved the idea of on the balcony here in the Bay in Miami. And that's kind of where the escape tour ideas just kind of came from, because when people were talking about how it was a beautiful escape for them, where the cities that they live in, that's when the idea of going to all these other amazing locations came from. So yeah, after a while, just had to do something.
Well, thank you, because you definitely relieved my lockdown. Another thing that really relieved my lockdown is your DJ Global podcast, which you've been constantly uploading mixes from. And also it's a great introduction to new artists. I know about Daxon, I know about Mike Effects. I actually know about Stu from Arkham Knights through the podcast. It's a great chance to introduce people to up-and-coming talent. But also, one of the things I like is you do a variety of different styles. I mean, I just listened to the 4-hour Down the Rabbit Hole podcast that you did, which moves you into more of a techno format. So the podcast is really great.
Yeah, that's actually the inspiration for this next project that I'm working on. I'm working on a new Dakota project, which is very melodic, techno-influenced. I spent a week in Tulum to just kind of like get some inspiration. And so now I'm currently working on that. And, I think that there's a lot of amazing producers on the trance side delving into the kind of melodic techno. I mean, what Genix is doing is absolutely amazing. Obviously, what Arkham Knights is doing is amazing. And then, we just signed another guy down here in Florida as well. His name is Nomad Signal, and he's absolutely just tearing it up as well. So I really think that right now we're not doing festivals or anything like that. We're just able to explore some different sounds and this melodic, trancey, but it has this like groove with the techno underneath it. It's really something that's interesting right now. And I think a lot of people are really going to be blown away with this, the next project that I'm working on.
So Markus, let me ask you, 2020 behind us now, 2021, hopefully vaccine starts rolling out, travel starts out. What are you looking forward to for 2021?
Reuniting, honestly. I feel like, I've had, I think, about 3 or 4 shows in 2020. I did a drive-in in Chicago. I did a couple of shows in California before they shut those down, including Dream State in San Bernardino. And every single show that I did, it was just like, you just felt like friends you haven't seen in a long time. Friends you haven't seen in a long time that have been through a lot. We've all been through a lot. So when we see each other again, it's just going to be more special. When we all went into lockdown, I don't think we realized it was going to be, a year before we see each other again. At first it was like, oh, this is kind of a nice break. It kind of fits right in with right before the summer. And in the summertime, everything should be, nope, it didn't happen. And here we are. And then all the stories, obviously, like I said, I know a lot of people that have really gone through some hard times. So for me, just 2021, reuniting with people and really just celebrating life, celebrating life the way that we want life to be. It feels like our lives have been completely shaken. The way we want to live our lives has been completely turned upside down.
But I think the music can get us through it. I've managed to have the fortune.
Absolutely. I mean, music is our soul, and that's what I've learned, or I've really seen over the last year, is people's passion for the finer things in music. I think we all got wrapped up in the whole put your hands up and everybody jump. And when you didn't have anybody to yell that to, when it was just you in your studio making music, interesting music for people to hear, I think we all just kind of refined our palette for great music.
And 2021 is an exciting year for the Zouk Group. Zouk in Las Vegas will be opening. I know that we've connected with the guys. That would be a great jewel. You can, like Thanos' glove, you've done Singapore, you've done Malaysia, you've done Kuala Lumpur and Genting, and then Vegas would be a great addition. We really hope to welcome you there. And of course, I want to get you back to Malaysia and Southeast Asia. We miss you over here.
Absolutely. I can't wait till that opens up. I mean, I've already heard people talking about it, so that's a great sign. And I mean, the Zouk brand for me stands for quality. Every single time I've played for Zouk, from the moment I've touched down in your cities to the moment I step on stage until the moment I take off, everything is like top notch, A+, and just great times. So many amazing memories with Zouk. So I can't thank you guys enough.
No, not at all, Markus. And lastly, have you picked up any new hobbies over the last year? I mean, you see people baking, running.
Actually, I mean, I've learned how to drive an RV. I mean, when we did the Escape tour, we literally, for 2 weeks, we drove around the United States and we took turns driving day and night. And I mean, it's wild. It's like driving a bus, you got to be careful of power lines and trees. And wow, it was really interesting.
Oh, that's phenomenal. I mean, I'm bad enough in a small car, let alone a big car. I don't know the length of my nose. Reverse parking must be a bit
like driving like this, like a bus.
And you say Miami's opening up a bit. The restaurants are open, the clubs are open. Is it a good vibe?
Yeah.
A good place to be creative then if there's
amazing vibe, because especially like New Year's, for example, New Year's was so crazy down here because people flew in from all over the US because Miami was like one of the only cities that was open, and people flew in from California, people drove down from New York. I mean, I saw so many cars with New York license plates driving around Miami. Everything was sold out. All the restaurants were sold out. So it was really, really wild down here, and it continues to be wild.
I just want to ask you a bit about Tulum. Tulum has become very well regarded with regards to early January. There's normally festivals down there in the manner that I see a lot of the techno DJs going down there to visit Tulum. Did you pick it for a specific reason of creativity, or was there another?
Yeah, for sure. There's a certain energy there. We went February 2019, we went to Tulum for the first time. And we didn't go to any parties. We just went to the restaurants and to the beach and just, just kind of stayed in that vibe. And over the course of the next couple of years, we just saw all these live streams coming from Tulum, more and more parties. And it was all that vibe that we experienced when we were there the first time. So it was definitely, we wanted to go there for the vibe. I'm still very paranoid and very cautious because of the COVID stuff. We haven't been out to any parties. There are a few times friends of mine have been playing at clubs here in Miami, and I'll like make a quick appearance in the DJ booth and then I'm gone right away. But I've been really chill, and so yeah, we went to Tulum and just chilled, soaked up the vibe. We were on the beach. All the beach clubs were, you could hear all the music and see all the people. So there's a certain sound and a certain vibe in Tulum that's really, really cool. And
lastly, we tend to try and give advice to a lot of the millennial followers of Zouk. Zouk's obviously a 30-year-old brand, but we have a lot of people who unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which way you look at it, graduated last year, who are big fans of the Zouk brand. It's been a rough year for some people coming out and wondering, what do I do with my life now? And on the other side, a lot of people were forced to change direction either in career or just in the way they live their lives. Music, for instance, for me was a great carrier to get people through. But when you look at people who are engaging in either new chapters of life, Markus, as someone who's been as successful as you and has been through many different eras during the decades that you've been spinning, what's the best advice you can give to people who might be a bit confused about which direction to go?
You know what? It's all about ambition. That is the number one word in your life. I mean, it doesn't matter if I would have worked at McDonald's my entire life, I would have owned 10 McDonald's by now. I've always had ambition. I've always had drive. So no matter what you do, have faith that it's going to guide you to your ultimate destiny. Whichever way you get there, you will get to where you're supposed to get. But the most important thing is to have the ambition and the drive to follow the path through. And when you look back at this path, it will make sense to you. Everything maybe right now doesn't make sense. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? And I don't even know. Nobody can answer that. But I know that when we look back at everything, it's going to make sense. Somehow all the pieces are going to come together, and we're all going to say, okay, we understand why we went through what we went through. But we can't give up. We have to have that ambition, and we have to have that drive to push on.
Great words of advice, and especially from someone as successful as yourself, and not to lose direction of where you want to go, and not get misguided off it, and let your chin drop, for sure.
And have faith that you're going to get to where it is that you're supposed to be.
It's been fantastic to reconnect you. We've been fortunate enough to chat to a lot of people over the last year. We've done 600 videos now because we were forced to go digital, but it's great to touch base with the likes of yourself, Ferry, Ben Nicky, Steve Aoki, all the rest. Are you managing to stay? You must be doing a lot of FaceTiming to stay in touch with your friends around the world.
Oh yeah. It's and even studio work. We're doing all kinds of Zoom meetings on and collaborations through Zoom. Zoom has a great feature, where you can, stream the audio and share the desktop and all that. So we do a lot of musical collaborations here on Zoom. So things are definitely different, but when you have that drive and ambition, you'll make it work, For
sure. Listen, Markus, it's late in Miami. We so appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Zouk misses you. You're a long-term friend of ours, and please stay safe. And we cannot wait for you to appear in one of the Zouk locations, if not all three, very, very soon.
Absolutely. We're going to have to do the Zouk World Tour. Thank you. And I love you guys. I really miss being out there with you guys, and looking forward to reuniting.
Take care, my friend. Stay safe.